Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on to 6.72 Hinge Bracket. This one is a little bit more difficult only because we are seeing it in flat views instead of in an isometric. And what is making this a little bit more difficult is that we are only seeing the front view and the bottom view rather than seeing a front top side. So this is a little bit harder, so you guys just kind of have to go with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is not in the metric system, it is standard IPT in inches, so make sure that you're starting in the right system. So standard IPT, so we're going to start on the XY plane. So we're just going to draw this shape right here. To me it looks like a duck, so we're just going to draw a duck. Okay. So I'm just going to start right here on the origin. This is where we're starting right here on this point right here. So we're just going to draw a straight line out this way. I'm just going to go straight up, back, up, and back to about right here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my origin. Going to draw straight up. Make sure you're not connecting with anything. Out this way. Straight up, don't connect with anything, and then at an angle, don't connect to anything. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a circle, don't connect to anything, and just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and click my tangent button, and I'm going to click on my circle and my line right here, my angle, and I'm going to hit my X or my trim, hold down my shift key, and hit that so that way it extends and it's touching. And then I'm going to also hold down the shift and connect that to that. Okay, and that's kind of where I want to leave that for right now. Let's go ahead and start dimensioning this. So from this center point, I'm just going to click on that circle, and I'm going to click on this out here. This is going to be 2.2, so that way it kind of resizes everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and resize this overall left to right 3.3. Okay, that gives us an overall size. From my center point to the bottom, that is going to be 1 inch. Okay, resizes that. From here to there, if that is going to be 0.62. And then I'm just going to drag that up, readjust that, and then that is going to be 0.26. Okay, then this right here is going to be 1 inch, and then let's see what next. This guy right here, this is going to be 0.5. This angle, let's grab that and just move that up so that way I have a little bit more room. That angle is going to be 60, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that size. I'm going to hit my X key on my keyboard, and I'm going to trim all of this so that way I just have that arc right there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and I'm going to put in that radius, which happens to be 0.62. Okay, and then oh, one last thing, I'm going to hit this right here. Oh, I'm just going to grab this point right here and drag it this way. If your center point was on the right side of this line, like mine was over here, I dragged it this way, so that way I can go ahead and put this 0.12 in. Okay, if yours is like mine is currently right now, then you're fine. 0.12, and then your lines, everything should be like how mine is right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and put in this circle right here, this 0.5, 0.5, and this shape is done. So let's go ahead and extrude this. We're going to be extruding this. I'm going to extrude it in both directions by a total of 2.76. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, cool. This is where we kind of have to use our brains a little bit. I know that's hard for us. I know. So basically what we're doing, or what we just did, is we drew this. We drew this front view. Okay. Now if I turned it to the bottom, this is what this bottom view looks like. So that's why things look a little bit different. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to create a plane that I can use to then cut out this section here. So I'm going to click right here. I just kind of rotated it a little bit so I can see this surface here. I'm going to click right here on this little pull down menu on plane. I'm going to click offset from plane. Okay, so I'm going to click right here on offset, or on this face, and see how the arrow is pointing up. I want to have it pointing down, but I can't, so I'm just going to type in a negative, and I'm going to type in -1. Okay, so -1, and then that then gives us a plane for us to go ahead and cut something out. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this plane right here, and I'm going to create a sketch. Okay, so now I'm looking at this. Okay, so now we're back to looking here. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on slice graphics. Okay, so now we're looking at the inside. I'm going to click on project geometry, and I want to highlight all of that, and right click OK. I'm going to click on circle, and I want to create a circle because what I want to do is I want to cut out this. Okay, this 80, this radius 80. If the radius is 80, that means that my diameter is 1.6. Okay, and I want to cut out everything else on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up with that, and I'm cutting everything else out. Okay, so this radius 80 and everything else on this side. So finish my sketch, and I'm going to extrude everything. Okay, so I'm going to select everything that I just created. I want it to go in that direction, and I'm cutting it out, and I want to cut out 1 inch of it. Okay, so let me turn off. I'm going to right click on work plane 1. I'm going to scroll down to visibility and turn that off, so that way when I look at it from the bottom, I now see something that looks like this. So I almost have what I should have over here. Okay, so we're almost kind of on the right path. Okay, I'm going to cut out this section right here, this 126 and 26. So I'm going to make a sketch right here, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. I'm going to project my geometry, make a rectangle here, and I'm going to type it in. 1.26, 1.26 is my width, and my depth is 0.26. And there I go. Finish my sketch, extrude, all of that. I'm going to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to cut it out like so. Done. Rotate it. Looks exactly like it should. Cool. All right. So now all I need to do is I need to put in some chamfers, which happen to be these 0.38. So I'm going to go right here to chamfer, and I'm going to change my distance to 0.38, and I'm going to chamfer. I'm going to rotate it down to the bottom because that's where I see the most or the best representation of these chamfers. So I'm going to rotate it like so I can see I need to chamfer that. I need to chamfer that, and I need to chamfer that. Okay, so you should have 3 corners that are going to be chamfered, and that's it. Say okay, and that's it, and good. Okay, now here comes kind of a hard part that I'm not really entirely sure how to do. Okay, so this right here is this line right here, this radius 6.2. It is like a lip that we have to create and I'm not entirely sure how to do it, but we'll just kind of figure it out. Or I'm just going to do it and just kind of tell you how I'm going to do it. I'm not entirely sure if it's the right way. So I'm just going to make a sketch on this face. And I'm going to project my geometry, and I'm going to make a circle. So this circle, I'm going to make it the same diameter as this. And since I projected my geometry, the only thing I have left that I want to have left over is this. Okay, so I want from there to there, there to there, and there to there. And that's it. And then I can trim everything else away, because all I want to extrude is this right here. And I'm going to finish that. So once I have that, I'm going to extrude this by a total of 0.12. So 0.12, and I'm going to cut in. Okay, so that's all I'm doing, is I'm just cutting that in. Say okay, and then I'm going to round it out or fillet it to or with a radius of 0.12. So I'm going to type that 0.12, and like so, and that's it. So that is how I did that. Okay, so now all I need to do is add the location for these holes right here. Okay, so the location for these holes are based off of this edge, which is this edge. So I'm just going to make a sketch here. Okay, so this edge is this edge. So I'm just going to put some points, boop and boop, and I'm going to line those up. That and that are aligned, and I'm going to say that this to here is 0.62. Okay, and from here to here is 1.26, and then they are 0.5 from that, or from this back edge. So now that we have that, I'm going to make a hole or two holes. Since I have those 2 points I put 2 points, Inventor automatically saw those 2 points and put those holes in. Those holes are what are these called? Countersinks. So 0.38 drill. I'm sorry, not countersinks, counterbores. 0.56 C bore, counterbore. So I'm going to change it from no seat to a counterbore. 0.56 counterbore, it doesn't tell us anything about how deep the counterbore goes, so I'm just going to leave it at the default. And the drill hole, or the drill diameter, is 0.38. So those are put in. That's the diameters. That's how everything is put in. And say okay. And those are there. This part, not entirely too difficult. Yes, I know it's a lot of stuff to look at, but once you kind of break it down, it's not that hard. So let's go ahead and save this. 3-4.1, 6.72, Hinge Bracket. Okay, and let's put it on a sheet. So this is not in the metric system. This is on a regular title block, and we are going to be we're going to be putting our front, our side, and our top. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of place those like so. Let's go ahead and put our center marks and our center lines. So we have center mark like this. Okay, center mark, and our centerline bisectors. So centerline bisector, and then centerline bisector here, and centerline bisector here. And there's a lot going on over here, so I'm going to just put it right there and right there. Okay, that's all. Oh, I need to extend this up so that way it looks nice. Okay, that's all this really needs. Let's go ahead and do, I think I've shown you this before, hole and thread note. But if I haven't, we can do, since we created this hole using the hole note, or using the hole function, we can go ahead and dimension this way. Okay, so if we click on hole and thread, we can go ahead and dimension it like so. Okay, easy peasy. We can do it. We can do this one too, but that one's an easy dimension to do on your own. Okay, there are a bunch of dimensions to place all over this drawing. Please do not try and smush all of the dimensions onto two views. You have three views to distribute all of your dimensions, so please use those to your advantage. You guys have plenty of things to do. All of these little V marks that you guys see here everywhere, just ignore those. You don't need to worry about those. So this should not be a very hard one for you guys to do, just like with the last ones. You do not need to export as a PDF or upload into the OneNote. Remember, you just leave it open on your computer and I will come around and check it. So if you guys have any questions, please just let me know. All right. Thanks, guys.